Automating with Google Apps Scripts and GPT. Today is going to be a bit more of a theoretical video with very interesting examples at the end, in which I'm using Google Apps Scripts to automate important tasks such as sending emails and sending calendar invites. But before I dive into it, I want to share with you what I've been doing in the last 3 days. I've been trying to automate a process in Automa, and Automa is this amazing Chrome extension that I found the other day, and I created a video about it. Basically, Automa allows you to create browser automation flows. It has a ton of alternatives. You can trigger using URLs, using sending files, schedule triggers, you can scrape websites, you can record any movements that you do in the browser and then have the workflow ready. It's just endless opportunities. And the thing that I liked most about Automa, in opposing to Microsoft Power Automate, that was the tool that I've been using mostly for all of my automations so far, I mean the majority of my automations, was the fact that Automa is platform agnostic, so it's not specific for Microsoft, and it is also a Chrome extension which provides a lot of freedom, in opposing to Microsoft Power Automate, that some people, if they don't use Microsoft, they will need to have a VPS installed, and this causes some sort of friction. So I have automations that I've created in Microsoft Power Automate, and I wanted to implement them in Automa as well. But I heard the other day an interesting quote that I liked. It said, "There are no solutions, only trade-offs." No solutions, only trade-offs. And this is correct. So although Automa is amazing, as I told you, and it provides a lot of flexibility, it isn't as powerful as Microsoft Power Automate. And it also has some few bugs that I encountered, in opposing to Microsoft Power Automate that has a huge team behind it and keeps on being updated. Anyway, in the last few days, I've been struggling to get this automation running. I was able to solve this, but I also wanted to add a layer that will allow me to distribute the automation and also charge for the automation. And this is where I encountered many challenges. Basically, this is the automation, by the way. It's one of the automations. It goes to Facebook. Sorry about that. It loops through a Google spreadsheet, which contains many URLs, many links of prospects. It loops through each one of them. It sends a friend request, it sends a like of the recent post, and then it sends a DM based on what we input. So let's say, "Hi, I'm selling X, Y, and Z," or whatever. And then it updates the Google Sheet and moves on to the next prospect. So this is basically the automation. And I've been struggling to make this work. And I wanted to share with you the process that I've gone through in order to try to solve this. And then we will move on to another takeaway with regards to automation. And then we will cover the last example, which is using Google Apps Scripts, which is way more powerful than I knew. Okay, so whenever I encounter an issue when I'm automating, first of all, what I'm doing obviously is I Google search, I go to Stack Overflow, and I see what is the most upvoted solution. Stack Overflow. Let's see an example. Power Automate, not opening Excel. So you can see here, this is, by the way, you can either go to the specific quote unquote, I don't know how to call it, it's not Stack Overflow, but there are like dedicated forums of your specific solution, of the specific software that you're using. So for example, in this case, we can see here someone opened this query, the Power Automate will not launch, and you can see here it was solved. And then you just sort by the amount of upvotes. So if people that also struggled with the issue are going to upvote the solution provided, so you can assume that this is the best solution. So I just start testing solution by solution based on the amount of upvotes. And this is also relevant for Stack Overflow. So you can see here someone asked a question, and you can see here someone answered. As we can see, there are no upvotes, but let's look for a different answer. This is okay. So this is a question: why doesn't Canada, which faces skyrocketing rent prices, build housing to control the price of rent? It's politics. It's stacking change, and you can see here that 17 people have voted this response. So this is the first thing that I'm doing. I usually do Google search, and then I try all the solutions that I see in Stack Overflow or in the dedicated forums of the solution. Next, I'm going to look in Discord, in the dedicated Discord, and Automa has a dedicated Discord. And over there, I also looked for the solution, like in the search functionality of Discord. Nobody encountered similar solution, similar problem or challenge similar to mine. So unfortunately, I didn't find a solution from the search, and then I posted in the Discord if anyone can help me, and I did so. I tried posting the question pretty early because I want to post the question fast and then let people the opportunity to answer me while I'm also looking for a solution. So I try to work simultaneously. First of all, trying to collect the collective wisdom and asking my peers, and in the meantime, also looking for the solution on my own. What I did afterwards is I went to GPT and I opened the documentation. And this leads me to the next step. And this is a takeaway that I started implementing, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. And I also share it with with people that I teach automation or any business process. So whenever I start working with a new solution, I make it a point to get familiar with all the features that the solution is offering. So it is very important as soon as you start working with a new solution that you read through the whole documentation just to give you a scope of the abilities that the solution provides. Because very often we want to automate a business process and we try using connectors, let's say Zapier or workarounds, but the actual solution resides in the software, but we are just not aware of the ability of this or that the software provides. Let me come up with an example. So let's say we are using email marketing, an email marketing software, and we are not aware that we can create our own custom fields and use them as dynamic fields in the email template. So let's say the address, we can pull the address from the database, the address of the physical address of the prospect. We can pull it and send it dynamically to all the emails. Like per recipient will get an email with his own address. So if you're not aware of this feature that you can create your own custom parameters, you're going to be stuck looking for a workaround or a solution, while this is actually something that is being offered by your solution. So for example, when I started working with Automa, I made it a point, first of all, to read all the documentation, just go over it, see the functionalities, and I also try to dedicate at least 1 or 2 hours on XX in 2x speed of watching the top rated YouTube tutorial for beginners about the solution. In this case, in Automa, they don't have many tutorials, but I also did this because once you see the top voted solution in YouTube, the top voted tutorial for the solution, you get a better understanding of how people utilize the tool and it just gives you a better overview of how you can use the tool, in opposing to diving right into the solution, and then you're missing a lot of functionalities, and you also might be setting up the tool incorrectly. And I think this is a very important lesson or takeaway that I've been trying to implement every time that I'm using a new software. And I understand the urge of trying to dive right into the things and understanding and messing around and learning by trial and error, which is also great. But I do think it is a wise choice to make it a point at least to read the whole documentation and watch like 2 hours video tutorial about the solution. So what I did, I looked for the solution over here, and this was actually very helpful. I found that the expressions part of the solution might be relevant for my needs. And I mean, this was the thing that I wasn't able to figure out. So I just copied the whole thing and I pasted it in Chat GPT, and I asked Chat GPT to write the variables in the correct format based on the Automa documentation and based on what I pasted. And it was actually able to spit out the variable in the correct syntax, which I wasn't able to create. So you might think that I'm dumb, but it is what it is. I just wasn't able to figure out the correct syntax because it was like a nested name inside the name, and this the Automa naming convention or the way that they use variables is not straightforward, at least in my opinion. So I leveraged ChatGPT for this. Another alternative which I've done in the past was downloading the whole documentation and uploading it as a knowledge base to ChatGPT or whichever framework that you would like to use that has a knowledge base. So this is another alternative. And the last thing that you can do is going to GitHub, to the GitHub repository, and go to the issues section. So GitHub, Automa, issues, and over here you can see the open issues. So if you see open issues, these are issues that other users are encountering, and some of them, I mean, sometimes there is just a bug in the platform that still wasn't fixed, and you might be encountering the bug. So it's very important to take a look in the GitHub repository in the issues section to make sure that you're not just banging your head against the wall trying to solve something when there is actually a bug. And this is very frustrating, understanding that you've tried different workarounds and looked up and invested a lot of time looking for solutions online, and then figuring out it's just like you were doing everything correctly, but there is just a bug in the platform. So it might make sense to check the issues section very soon in your troubleshooting process. Okay, so that was the end of that. This was like a short intro regarding troubleshooting and what I've been encountering in the last few days. And this, I'm going to transition to a story about Apollo scraping. So the other day I had a client of mine, and they wanted to automate a process, a workflow in which they exported emails from Apollo, and then they wanted to enrich the data using data from the website of the prospects and using data from the Facebook Ads library and different data sources. And we built the automation, and the automation basically was working just fine, but it took a lot of time. And then I told them, listen, how are you exporting the leads from Apollo? And when we discussed regarding the way that they export the lead from Apollo, we understood that they are exporting in a non-efficient or non-effective manner because they didn't leverage the filters that Apollo is offering. And this is related to what I mentioned before. So if you start using a tool, a service provider, such as Apollo or any service provider, and you're not aware of the abilities, you might be losing a lot of time or wasting a lot of energy doing stuff that is not effective. So in this example, they gave me a ton of leads from Apollo, and then I did the automation. The automation had to qualify the leads and see if they were relevant. And we had like 3% of leads that were relevant from 100%. So let's say we had 2K leads exported. So only 60 of them were relevant. So this was very low. So I told them, listen, are you filtering the Apollo leads before you send them to me? And they told me that they were not aware of all the filtering abilities. So I told them, okay, listen, let's try to filter. First of all, company size, this is straightforward. Everybody knows that you can filter in Apollo using headcount. But then I told them, let's also filter by technology. So in Apollo, you have the ability to filter based on the technologies that the website is using. And since we were targeting companies that are running Facebook ads, I told them, listen, let's look for Facebook ad pixel. This is a technology that we can look for. Perhaps we can look for an A/B test, all the A/B testing tools. So Unbounce, VWO, stuff like this. And we also added another layer of keywords and obviously geographies and job titles, etc. So this way, adding more filters at the top of the process helped us in creating a smaller pool of prospects, which were way more relevant. And then we ran the automation again on this pool of leads. And in opposing to 3% of qualified leads, we got almost 30% of qualified leads. And this just goes to show you the importance of knowing different tools and different abilities of tools. And this is why I like automating business processes, and I'm always keeping an open mind, because sometimes a small nuance in the tool, just a small feature in the tool can completely accelerate your automation process and make your business process way more efficient and effective. So this is why it's so important to understand all the features provided by the tool. And this is related to what I've been encountering with Automa, because I've had many challenges solving this specific challenge with Automa with regards to distributing it. And it's not doable without like a very big and significant workaround. Okay, cool. So we covered Automa and we covered the story about Apollo scraping, and I also discussed the importance of documentation. And this leads me to the last topic for today, which is using Google Apps scripts. And this is actually a realization a finding that I had just a few days ago about the power of Google Apps scripts. Sometimes we are looking in other places looking for solutions, but the solution might be right under our nose. And this is an example of me not being, probably, I wouldn't say not being curious enough, but not understanding the whole scope of abilities that Google Apps Scripts is providing. But now I understand, and it is really amazing. And I want to share with you what I did. Just a small example to pick your curiosity with regards to using Google Apps Scripts. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you, because I wanted to create the automation in Automa, but now I'm thinking, but since I realized, okay, this is very challenging with Automa, and you always have this dilemma, should I muscle through the challenge and try to solve this, or should I leave this service provider, this solution provider, and try to build the solution elsewhere? So I thought of going back to Microsoft Power Automate, or maybe automating with Selenium base. So I just went back and forth, and then I thought, okay, maybe I can just build something with Google Sheets and Zapier, or Google Sheets with N8N. And I looked it up in YouTube, and then I saw someone that just created an automation using Google App Scripts, and this piqued my curiosity, and this is what I built using Google App Scripts. So basically, just a small example. So I created a database over here. It's a Google spreadsheet of first name, last name, company name, email, and an event. And what I wanted to do is create an automation that sends out emails to all the prospects over here. So let's say Danny, DeVito, whatever, Chris, Ronaldo, etc. Now let's say I'm just going to add this fast. Okay, so I have all of these prospects and I wanted to send all of them an email with an attachment. And this is very cool because you can actually leverage Google App Scripts to create an attachment dynamically. So check this out. What I did here, I used Chat GPT to write this pitch template. And this is a pitch for selling automation services. And as you can see here, this is a dynamic field, dear first and last name. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, staying ahead requires not just innovation, but also the ability to execute processes with efficiency and precision, etc. Now we have tailored automation solutions for company name. And this is the ID of the document. And what I did over here, I went to Chat GPT and I asked it to develop an app script for me. So the goal to develop a Google App script that automates the creation of personalized invitation PDFs using a Google Docs template. The script should replace specific placeholders in the document with information from Google Sheets spreadsheet, first name, last name, and company name. Then email the customized PDF to an address listed in the spreadsheet. Requirements. Google Sheets contains the data to personalize each invitation, including the recipient's first name, Google Docs, a template for the invitation with placeholders, and Google App Scripts to automate. Steps for the script development. So you can see over here, and then you can see over here, it wrote the script. And what I did, you can just come here, extension, app scripts, and this is the code. I just pasted the code. And you save the project name. Over here, I created a button. So this is also something very nice. If you want to sell your automation or internally just want to make the automation look better, you can draw the button. So event. Send event. This is the other automation that I'll show you in a moment. Save and close. And right here, you can assign a script. So you assign a script, basically you go back here, you take the name of the function, so create calendar events. I will explain to you in a moment what it means. Assign script, paste it, and there you go. Whenever you press the button, it's going to run the script. So basically, as I showed you, the first script that I created, which you can see over here, basically takes all of these emails and it creates a document dedicated per recipient. It updates the first name and last name and company name based on the data over here, and it sends all the emails to everybody. So you can see here, I'm going to press the button. It is running the script. Basically what it does now, it is actually updating the document per customer, per recipient, and it is also sending the emails, which is amazing. Imagine that you had over here like 200 rows, Finish script. Let's open Gmail. You can see here, please find attach your invitation. Dear Chris Ronaldo, in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, ahead, blah, blah, blah. You see, tailored automation solution for Ronaldo, like it took the company name. Let's go to the next one, it's Danny DeVito. Dear Danny DeVito, for DeVito, this is the company name. This is amazing, this is really cool. So using GPT, Chat GPT to write the script and just creating the script. Now I wanted to see if I can also create events. I wasn't sure if I can also add calendar events, but fortunately I could add the calendar events. And it's amazing because all of these tools are in the Google Suite. It's so easy to automate everything. By the way, I wanted to share with you that Google offers a ton of free resources for learning more about their solutions and tools. So you can just go over here to Code Labs and see different lessons and tutorials, very high quality guided tutorials that they are sharing regarding all of their tools. You also have similar stuff for Google Ads, YouTube Ads, just a wealth of free knowledge that is provided by Google. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Now let me share with you the second script. The second script is basically I wanted to create events based on these hours, and I went to Chat GPT and I asked it to create. I will show you exactly what I did. Never mind. I went a bit back and forth with it because it didn't write the script correctly on the first iteration, but after like 2 corrections, it did write the script correctly. Basically what I did, I took this, I copy and pasted it into ChatGPT, and I told it, listen, I want you to create a Google App script to send calendar invitations to these emails based on the event time. And then it wrote this script, which is very short. So basically, create calendar events. It is pulling the data from the spreadsheet. It is extracting the event details from each row. It is parsing the event data and time. It calculates the end time, assuming 1 hour duration for each event. It creates the event title dynamically, meeting with first name and last name from company, and it creates the calendar event. Now let's see how it does so. So let's open the event, 5th of March. Okay, so not too many events in this calendar, but let's send the event. Boom. Meeting with Yaron, Ecom X Factor, meeting with Yaron Bin, meeting with YBA. Yes, that's it. As you can see, it just added all the events, 1 hour long. Obviously, I could have adjusted it, making sure that it also sends the specific, Zoom link, because you can over here add the Zoom link or location or a more attendees for the event. There is a ton of stuff that you can do with this, but for me, it was just mind-blowing to understand the abilities of Google Apps scripts. I think that we will start wrapping up this video. It was kind of a high-level video regarding how I view troubleshooting with automations and the importance of understanding all the abilities of the tools. I remember like 5 years ago, I spoke with an automation architect, and he told me that one of his most important takeaways or tips is first, you must try to solve all the automation in as little tools as possible. So he made it a point to try to solve as many steps of the automation natively in a tool without without changing entities or moving the entities in different workflows, in different solutions. So if you can automate, let's say you want to create filters or forward stuff, so forward emails, so you just use all the functionalities that Gmail is already providing. You can automate a lot of stuff natively in Gmail, in opposing to starting to move to connect Zapier or Make to Gmail and then connecting it with via API. So as much as possible, try to solve stuff in one SaaS or one service provider and not expand using connectors like Make or N8N or Zapier, because this makes the process just more complex. So again, this video was mostly focused on how I view automations and the importance, like the emphasis that I'm putting on understanding all the features and abilities that the solution is providing before running into the solution and trying to solve what I need to solve within the solutions, because I want to remove inefficiencies. Yes, I guess that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. Obviously, leave a like and a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about the video. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer. If you have ideas for improving the video, the content, the pace, the depth of what we covered, please feel free to share any criticism. I'm always welcoming criticism, putting in the reps and trying to create better content while I'm learning from this and reporting my findings to you guys. Sip of water before we end up. Yes, I guess that's it. Until next time, keep on automating.